Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to the summary for multiplayer game number 95. So in this game, spoiler alert, if you do not want to know how the game went, do not watch this video and go to the first position of the playlist. The link should be somewhere in here. But if you have watched the game already or you want to know how the game went so you can actually decide if you want to watch the game or not, then I invite you to watch this video. So right, final warning, spoiler alert, let's continue. So in this game I've got Twinsen, Enki, Lucky Strike, Cleftor, Joey 4 Fingers and Enki Shimmy 16. Twinsen is playing Arabia, Enki Lucky Strike is playing Siam, Cleftor is playing Rome, Joey 4 Fingers is playing Brazil, and Enki Shimmy 16 is playing Poland, and I rolled India. Now I'm a huge fan of India. Sadly, the start was not looking that great. Now I will talk a little bit about the Civ in this game. Now Twinsen with Arabia is, well, camel archers are just simply overpowered. So if somebody decides, well, basically playing Arabia allows you to do two things. First thing is to kill a lot of people with camel archers timing. If you actually have the access to horses, camel archers are really hard to stop. But the second way to play it is you actually play on the fear of the camel archers. So you do not intend to rush anybody with camel archers. You of course do have them, but you kind of like, okay, so I got camel archers, nobody attacks me, so I go echo up like crazy because nobody's gonna be sane enough to attack camel archers, right? So this is the two ways you want to play when you go Arabia. Both are pretty cool. So nobody will, knowing Twinsen, well, he's a good fighter, so it was hard to decide what he'll actually like to do. Lucky Strike is one of the most peaceful players around in here, and he almost always goes for culture. Always goes for culture, and Siam actually is quite good for that with the bonus to city-states. And of course, elephants could help out with the defense against camel archers, though the downside is, if I believe correctly, camel archers are not considered horseman units, so actually the bonus from elephants against horses do not work. Same goes for pikes. Now you get Joey 4 Fingers playing as Brazil. Well, I don't think he enjoys playing Brazil at all. Basically, Brazil always have the jungle star bias, so it's not the way that Joey 4 Fingers feels comfortable about the game. When you do not have too much hammers, you actually have to work hard to get those hammers. So I wouldn't be too much afraid of Joey in this game playing Brazil. There's of course Shumi playing as Poland. Shumi plus Poland is kind of scary combination. Poland is just an amazing civ. Again, one of those civs that we do not stop early on. Later on is just boost out to craziness. I always say, if you want to stop Poland and if you want to compete with Poland, you gotta kill them before industrial era. Later on they will just run away and it will demand like teaming 2v1 or 3v1, or maybe even it's not possible to actually stop them later on because they will just boost out to craziness. Now Cleftor playing as Rome. Cleftor is one of those guys lately that I enjoy playing very much. He's an excellent player, and on top of that is a very cool guy to talk with on TeamSpeak, and just relaxed and doing all his stuff, and he plays amazingly strong science focused games. And Rome, my favorite personal civs, is just a dream come true for that type of game, because you get the buildings in the capital, everything else builds it 25% faster. It's just amazingly strong. And I've got India. India also is one of those civs that can explode later in the game. The start is very slow, and I will repeat that one more time. The start is very slow, because this one sentence will give you a view what actually happened to me in this game. So let's continue. I started in here, and I did not like my spot at all. I'm like, there's luxury, yes, so my personal thing, like, okay, I go India, I want to settle on luxury, right? But the luxury is not in a good spot. I'm like, yeah, there's river, but there's no wheat, there's no deer, there's no nothing. And the problem is, if you want to go for any wonders or anything like that, you'd like to have at least one wheat resource, preferably two, and like 3 would be a dream come true. and there were basically nothing, so I had to count on horses. Yes, I could step on the hill in the south, risking of course barb capture and still denying me. Well, this hill looked particularly interesting because they would give me a chance for a Petra, but there still was no food. So let me show you what turned out from my initial basically scouting around. So I did a little bit of scouting, and this is what I came up with. Yes, this is, what can I say, it looks nice. Okay, it looks nice, but though it looks nice at a first glance, it's not really that great. So first of all, I moved 3 turns to get in here. 3 turns, it was actually 4 turns, right? So I moved here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna plant on turn 4. So I'm already so many turns behind. Yes, I get 2 ruins. Yes, I got a wonder in here that we'll actually probably never gonna get. And you're probably asking, why did you settle in here and not settle in here? Well, to answer that question, there's just a little bit more food on this side. I can chop a lot of forest in here. I will get some river tiles. I can get the deer. And the food is the problem in a city later on. Then this city is not that great with food, especially if I would miss wonders like Hanging Gardens or Petra in this city. That would be like, whew, pure craziness. Then this capital will be bad, simply bad. Like this is a must Hanging Gardens Petra capital. Otherwise, especially with so many turns used to travel, it's gonna be very hard to catch up. But I did decide to plant in here. And I knew, like, okay, this time no wandering around, no additional settlers, straight Hanging Gardens, Petra, or I lose the game. So that was the plan. But of course, my dream capital did not work that well. Yes, I missed Hanging Gardens. You're probably asking to who? Of course, Mr. Ankishumi16 decided to snatch Hanging Gardens because he could. He got great life, and he decided to get Hanging Gardens. Now, Hanging Gardens was so crucial for me. It was like, oh, cry. I needed Hanging Gardens in this city so darn badly. And I didn't get it. So this is one huge thing that set me back tremendously. Now, geopolitical situation was as follows. From what I have seen, Rome, Cleftor, was on my west side, and he was all alone there. He was like at the edge of the continent, so it was basically him and then me. So if anybody from any one of the other players would want to get to him, he would need to pass through me. And if Cleftor would want to go to any other players, which most probably he didn't want to, he would need to go through me. So knowing Cleftor, I kinda knew he's gonna go all out crazy with his science build, and he will not be afraid of me in any way, shape or form. And to be honest, he's probably actually totally correct, because first of all, I went all in into Hanging Gardens Petra. I moved so much, so I was already far behind, and I had actually no way to access him because there was 1 tile passage in the south and 2 tile passage in here. I would need to put like crazy amounts of hammers and production to actually get to his second city, not mentioning getting to his capital, and he already had science and hammer advantage over me, so I felt like I already missed the timing for any ancient era rushes, because first of all I went for Hanging Gardens. That's a lot of hammers wasted that I actually missed, and I needed Petra for my capital to be viable at all. So if you go for those wonders like that, and later I would need to expand, I still need to get National College and stuff like that to be able to compete in the late game with anybody else. So I felt my ancient era timing was completely off, and I couldn't really attack him in that era. So my only hope was to actually get back to this game, hope for India extra happiness that my cities will be growing enough so I can catch up at some sort of a timing later on. But I knew I missed this timing tremendously. So from my perspective, stopping Cleftor would be like, without anybody else help, I wouldn't be able to do it. But on the other hand, I knew I need to stop Cleftor to have any chance to win this game. So, to summarize this turn, I lost Hanging Gardens. I was super sad, but the next stop was, of course, Petra. Thankfully, Petra was achieved successfully, and there was only good thing happening in here. So, it's already turn 54, like Cleftor is already on 3 or 4 cities, everybody has expanded like crazy, demographics rolling on in their favor. Yes, I got religion, yes, I got Petra, but I miss Hanging Gardens, was huge. I finally was able to buy my Natural Wonder. That actually did not work for quite some time. So now it was time to expand. And of course, another problem arrived. There was no happiness, and the happiness that I had available was in very bad spots. Basically, I planted a city in here on the marble. Yes, on the mountain, on the marble, to defend this passage, so I'd have only 2 passages to defend, not like I was expecting Cleftor to attack me. But that would be my 2 cities, and then I decided to plant 1 more city somewhere on the river, to the east. Before NCs, I basically made settlers, I built NC and I planted 2 cities, so very slow start, and basically from this time on I was playing catch up. On the other side of the world there was not really much happening. This was like one of the most peaceful games I have encountered, and now this is a problem with peace versus civs like Poland, Rome, even Arabia. It's like a crazy bad idea if you go to peace. You got to slow them down early on, and problem versus Cleftor is it was kinda in game. It was my responsibility to take Cleftor away, slow him down, but I simply had no chance in the early game to do so. Well, maybe a chance existed, but if I would do it, I would definitely had no chance later on in the game to catch up to anybody else in this game. So I actually decided to go, like, of course, crazy glass cannon, echo up, to try to compensate my slow start and failed Hanging Gardens. Now, Hanging Gardens was such a huge deal in this game, it's unimaginable. It's 2 caravans early game, so that's instead of going Hanging Gardens, I could have went 2 settlers, I could have planted those and get like libraries to go into and see, or just granaries and go for caravans. None of that was working out for me, so that was a huge blow for me, and I knew this is going to be a very uphill game for me. But of course I never give up so early. So I decided to go absolutely glass cannon, and I didn't care about anybody on the east side of the game, of the map. Let them fight. Even Twinsen can get in here and kill me, because I know that if I won't try to echo up, I will die later on in the game. So now I'm just gonna skip away a lot of turns when actually something's going to happen from my part, because again it's probably like 100 turns of simply glass cannon echoing, simming up from my part to try to have a chance for the late game, not only against Cleftor, but of course against everybody else. So let's continue. Whoa, as you can see, this is even more than 100 turns. Okay, let me summarize what's going on. As I said, I went into full eco science mode. Though with those 3 cities, with that lack of food, look how much science I'm rocking. I'm rocking 748 science on turn 178. That's like cry. I already burned all of my great scientists to get to bomb shelters, because I was like, my only chance to reach that site to go for Cleftor is of course by building up planes and attacking with planes. So I kind of felt that I need to go for bomb shelters to actually be able to defend. Because the funny part about all of this is, of course I went autocracy, but the funny part about all of this is I was second in tech. You're asking me like, okay, yours, how possibly could you be second in tech with such a low science and only 3 cities? Well, autocracy for the win. As I said, I went absolutely glass cannon. I haven't put a single spy in my cities. All my spies was in Cleftor's land and trying to get as many techs as possible. That was the only thing that kept my science enough so I could actually attack him. At this stage of the game, I think Twinsen already burned all of his great scientists and like got stealth bombers already. Now you're probably asking, okay, so how were you planning to defeat Cleftor? Well, my first initial idea was of course bombers, and I needed to have bombers, not Great War bombers. I needed to have bombers, so because of the range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Barely reaching Kumai. So I decided to went there, but I already am trying to get experience out of my bombers. I had 7 because I had 7 oil. Somewhere around this time I actually got the autocracy 10 to double my resources. So because I got only 7 oil. So I will start building up more bombers. So I had only like chance for 14 planes. That's not too much. But I was going for nuclear missiles. Those Cleftor already had bomb shelters. He's like crazy way with tech. In my like, he should win in like 10-12 turns. So as usual, it's like not enough time when you give a player of Cleftor caliber the time to do his stuff, echo up, SimCity, and just focus on science. He will like win around turn 180, 190. So I didn't have too much time, and I was like asking, please shoot me, please everybody give me gold. And nobody wanted to give me. I'm like, how am I supposed to? Why are you? They were all sitting like almost everybody went for autocracy. So they wanted to build by a lot of troops later on, well, late game warfare. And I was asking like, everybody give me 1k gold. Give me 1k gold at least. Everybody was sitting like 3k, 4k gold. Give me 1k gold each so I can stop Cleftor and give you a chance to win, and of course give myself a chance to win, or I won't attack him. I said it on TeamSpeak. I will not attack him if you will not support me and give me gold. So finally after this, they finally gave me some gold. But earlier on, nobody that actually was interested in helping me. Joey was like ages away from tech, and like he was so slowed down. Lucky Strike was doing his usual stuff, so he had no chance to compete with anybody on the military part. And Shumi of course went for stealth bombers against for bomb shelters. And Twinsman was rocking good, so he had stealth bombers, a lot of land, a lot of hammers, a lot of gold. So he was in a very good shape as well, but Cleftor was going to win. So, yeah, I put everything into trying to stop him down. And I will skip in to the last screenshot, because, well, the warfare may be interesting, but there's not any crazy stuff going on that I would love to show you. But I will skip to the last screenshot of this game, and I will show you how all of this ended. Okay, I think this is the best screenshot to talk about the outcome of this game. So, as I said, I did get some gold from other players, basically from Twinsen and Shumi. Joey, I don't think he gave me any gold whatsoever. And I was able to take out Cleftor 4 cities, 4 core cities. But Cleftor did send a lot of settlers into the sea and planted a lot of islands. This time nobody had any coastal navy. Nobody had any navy whatsoever. I was in land, like Lucky Strike had a coastal city, I think maybe 2 coastal cities, but never had any navy and attack anybody. You can see cargo ships running around in here for the extra gold. Joey had like 1 or 2 coastal cities, no navy of course. Twins and no coastal cities, Shumi no coastal cities. So nobody had any navy to stop Cleftor from expanding into the sea. And he did that. He did that, and that worked out greatly for him, because when I took his cities, maybe I did one mistake but I don't think that would even matter, because I had a nuke, but I didn't want to nuke one of his parts because I had my troops surrounding his city, Antium. So I decided not to nuke it, since, well, nobody's really helping me out. Why should I? And I was not really expecting him to, well, I was expecting him to win, but I was like hoping I did my part. And since nobody else cared about Cleftor, I don't really feel like responsible for Cleftor winning. I did my part. I take away all his core cities. So I tried to slow him down, I tried to stop him, but I had no means to actually stop him on the scene. And guess what? Arretium, his new capital, is gonna launch his last part on turn 197, and Cleftor is gonna go to space, and he's gonna win this game. Absolutely deserving the victory. Now, if you want me to summarize this game, I say, like, everybody else in this game was like sleeping, definitely sleeping. I'm like, Joey had a terrible game. He did absolutely nothing in this game. In every stage of this game, Shumi could have swooped him and take him out. I don't know why he didn't. Twinsend could get in there and kill him, but he didn't. Lucky Strike was going for his culture thing, never really threatening anybody. Well, he declared like war on Twinsend and shoot his, I don't know, third or fourth city a little bit, but nothing really get from it. So they made peace, and there was like peace for the rest of the game. So I was like kind of the lonely person who tried to stop Cleftor from winning again, and I didn't manage to do it. So definitely Cleftor deserved this win. He played very, very good, expanding into the sea, very good science game, and well, the combat not that great, but he did fight enough well, he had enough troops to basically sneak in that science victory. So what can I say? He played correctly in the end. His decision making was great, and he won the game. GG Cleftor, again, good job. From my perspective, what could I have done else? I don't feel like I could have done anything else. Maybe I could have planted a spot and didn't go that greedy for that Petra city spot. Maybe that would be better in the end. More food, maybe 4 cities instead of 3 cities. I really don't have an idea. My initial decision making just put me in such a bad spot after losing Hain Gardens that all the game was trying to play catch up. And you could say like, yeah, you missed like couple of turns, and those could be those turns in the early game that I could have done stuff differently. Plant in space, plant in spot. Instead of Hain Gardens, build some settlers. Those are all those decisions in the early game that could mean the lose or victory in the end game, because late game sometimes is decided by a couple of turns. And of course those turns in the early game matters the most. But at least I tried, and I really enjoyed trying, and I actually am very, very happy for Cleftor for winning this game, because he genuinely deserved it. Not only he played great, but every other player in this game was just doing nothing to stop him. You could say, okay, Twinsend gave you some gold, Shumi gave you some gold, okay, but what else? Twinsend tried to bombard one of his cities, that doesn't matter. Shumi went for Blitz XCOM, and he didn't want to give me a Blitz XCOM. If I would have a Blitz XCOM, I would take those cities so much earlier. But he didn't give me a Blitz XCOM, and in the end he was just like killed in 2 or 3 turns by Twinsend because he didn't go for bomb shelters. Twinsend, when he actually saw that he's not doing any much to stop Cleftor, he actually went for nukes. He nuked Twinsend, he nuked Shumi and took him away. So they didn't play that well in this game, but still, not a bad game. So if you have watched the game, thank you very much for watching the summary, and if you haven't watched the game, well, you could definitely check out this game. Not much to see except the late game fighting, but looking at Cleftor pulling off crazy demographics and crazy science repeatedly in every single game, it's just nice to watch. I have to say he's really good, and I really enjoy going up against him. Though it's not going that great lately, so it's still very enjoyable, and just like that challenge that always is there. And you can expect the same great performance from Cleftor. It's just so nice to play with him. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. I invite you to watch the game. The link should be in here to the first position of the playlist. And yeah, that's it. That's all. So, best wishes. Yoruus out.